Now, I would like to invite our festival director, author, singer, songwriter, and consultant. He's also single. Please welcome Sharat D. Rangnekar.
And after having a conversation with Arundhati Ghosh and some other friends of mine who turned out to be polyamorous, and tomorrow we actually have Shana Goswami, I just realized, and this was something in a conversation with Anjali, who's sitting there, Anjali Gopalan, that perhaps I cannot be satiated by one person. And so maybe I need someone for my feet, someone for the midriff, someone for the head.
What's your view about this festival?
I think it is one of the most inclusive spaces because you truly get to understand how conversation, community, and being together is one of the ways to propel us forward. And it's only by coming together in spaces like these that we can pave a way forward for the queer community.
But do you think people are changing, or is it just for those people who are into it that they come to these festivals?
No, I think we have seen, because I've been associated with the festival for the last 3 years, and I think each year with the way in which Sharif and the team especially curate the program, I think the diversity of the program and the theme sort of shows that there is a change, because each year we broaden the horizons, we broaden the scope. So I think in many ways the way in which now we are gauging people's interest, not only through themes like queer rights, but within the umbrella, ways of queer pleasure and expression and just being, I think that gauges the sense that there are actually more people who are coming into the ambit.
You yourself are an author, you have written a book, Ghosted, right? How do you feel when people term this as queer writing, or a gay author has come out with a book?
Yes.
Why it is still that?
Yeah, so that is something that we're still battling, because I think for me, Ghost, I'm a historian and the book is a non-fiction history book, right? It does have queer themes, but I believe it is the same thing as having straight themes for me, right? Because naturally, if you speak about something, sexuality, which is an everyday existence for us, will come into the flow of that conversation. So when I write about queer themes, it is not through a queer writer's perspective, but through a queer lens that I think all of us should have. I think that is something that we are still trying to understand. Some people come with good intention and they obviously say that they are a queer writer and they're coming out with their work which is going to perhaps open up the field for more queer writers to come in. And I think when that is done, it's great, because we want more queer voices in fields that are not necessarily related to sexuality to be speaking about them. But I think we also need to really work towards making people understand that queer people are more nuanced, multifaceted, and we are much more than our sexualities.
Yeah, true. But do you feel, when we talk about inclusion, and when we write a particular author, she has come out with a book, he has come out with a book, but we specifically mention a gay writer brings out. Why is it that they're also intelligent, they also are good writers, they are writing on different themes, not only queer? How do you feel as a writer? Is it not excluding them?
I think it is. It could be seen through two perspectives. One is to say that if somebody who is queer or somebody who is just marginalized, even when we talked about early on in the decades of female writers as a separate category altogether, right, than a writer. I think when we think of using terms like queer or female or anybody who is marginalized, we are in mainstream media saying that, the stereotype that you have perhaps reduced the group to is not true. And so when we come into the mainstream, it is also saying that we are here and we are reclaiming our space. At the same time, I think it could be reductionist. It could put us in a box. But I believe for the times that we are in, and I think we keep shuttling back into a conservative way of looking at life. At some point we were thinking we're moving forward, but globally you can see conservatism is on the rise. I think in the face of that, sometimes perhaps giving that label is a statement on the face that we are not going anywhere, we're reclaiming our spaces.
And what is the role of media? Do you think it has changed, or it's still the same?
I think media, it depends. I believe independent media, people who are curating their own space, working, even to that extent, a lot of magazines, a lot of online journalism, is really focused now on creating a space that is more nuanced and not one that is devoid of looking at multifaceted aspects of being queer. I don't think mainstream media that we talk about with its range of debates and conversations is really who we have our hopes on, but I do think that the world that we're living in, it's a digital world, it's a world of independent journalism and magazines and online media that I think is paving the way.
You have come out with a book, Ghosted. Yeah, that's your first book.
That's my first book.
Can you talk about it a little?
Right.
What is
So-
it about?
I'm a historian, but I've always loved horror. So when I began my heritage walks in Delhi, a lot of people would ask me if a monument is haunted. I became very curious and I started to wonder why is history so haunted. And so I began on a journey about 5 years ago where I looked at 5 monuments of Delhi. And I have written a history of Delhi through the perspective of 5 haunted monuments, going all the way from the prehistoric past of Mehrauli, the Tomars, Chauhans, Sultans and Mughals, coming all the way to the independence of India and seeing how some of these horrors reveal to us the relationship people have with history.
There's a book by author Sanjay Roy also, that is Ghost in My Room. Then your book is there. Do you think this genre is coming back or people are more interested into it?
So this is a running joke between Sean Joy and I because our books just seem to have come at the same time too. Sean Joy's is a memoir because he's somebody who has actually experienced supernatural entities and he has throughout his life seen them and interacted with them. Whereas mine is a non-fiction, but I do think horror is springing in a very interesting way because we live in horrifying times, but those are for different reasons. You know, we see geopolitically, climatically, very difficult times. And I think horror in that way, this kind of horror, supernatural horror, horror in movies and novellas, is in some way also an escape. But horror a lot of times also allows us to create a genre of questioning reality. And I think in that ways it's also very political. So I think horror is having a comeback and I'm really in for it.
And your you can say you are definitely an inspiration for budding writers, and what's your advice for them?
What every writer says, read first and read a lot. I have grown up and I will continue to read so much, but also keep yourself open to the writer's eye. I think one of the best things that I have learned about writing is not just about writing. Because the hardest part is to write and to be patient with yourself. But remember, when you're on the job and when you're on the path of writing, you're constantly looking at the world through a writer's eye. So you have to keep picking up on everything that you see because ultimately it will go down on pen. And I know everybody has that in them. Just be patient, trust yourself, and you'll be there.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you. Thanks.